For this tutorial, you're going to need a beanie, some foil, black ribbon and lace, some black duct tape, a headband, and also a mannequin head or a friend's head, which would be a lot easier. Start out by putting the beanie on your head. This is just going to protect your hair because you're going to cover the entire thing with tape. So start taking large pieces of tape and sticking them down on the beanie. Try to get it as close to your hairline as possible. It's hard to tell under the beanie. See, I folded down the edges of the tape so that they would stick to the beanie, and then I'm just covering my entire head with it. Then just slowly take it off of your head, and if the beanie's stuck, that's okay, you're going to take it out anyway. And now you have a giant duct tape helmet, and put a little tiny piece of tape in the front so you remember exactly where the middle of your head is. Then stick the tape helmet over a mannequin head or your friend's head, and then you're just going to cover the entire thing with tape again, but this time sticky side down so that it's not sticky. Then just check the size of your helmet, make sure it still fits your head, and you should be ready to decorate it. I'm taking little strips of duct tape, folding down one end so that I can stick it onto the helmet, and just kind of making them in a diagonal shape so I can make that V shape, kind of like a widow's peak that she has on her horn helmet thing. Don't worry if it's too big, you're going to actually trim it down after you put the ribbon on it. Then just continue filling in the V so that there's no open space. Then put it back on your head and take some strips of the black ribbon and make the V shape actually fit your forehead the way you want it to. Then you're going to cut off the excess tape and lace. And before we continue on with the helmet part, we are going to start making the horns. You're going to take some foil and your headband and start wrapping the foil around it and just squishing it into horn shapes. This is the best way and easiest way to form horns without having to buy a bunch of stuff. And the best thing to do is actually look at a picture of her so that you can follow the shape. You may end up having to bend them again later. Mine ended up facing too far out, but they still looked okay. So just play with them. It's easy to mold and bend. That's why I like the foil. So yeah. Keep putting the headband back on your head to make sure that they are spaced out in the right spot, and then once they are, tape them down to the headband so that they won't move. Once you've got them where you want them, you can start taping the headband to the helmet. Then you're going to put it back down and start blending in the base of the horns to the helmet. Now just tape down the base of the horn so that they don't move. Now for the little design that's in the middle of the widow's peak, I'm putting down pieces of tape about an inch or half an inch away from the black ribbon. Make sure that this is sticky side up. You can see here I'm sticking some tape underneath that little V and then folding it over the top. This is going to make it stick down to the ribbon and not just be another flap in the shape of a V. So I'm taking a piece of tape, folding it in half and sliding that underneath the second V shape. And then I'm just pressing it down onto the ribbon. Then you can take your lace and stick it down onto the tape. You can make a pattern, you can do whatever you want. I just weaved mine back and forth and just snipped it off, covered up all the tape, and that was that. Now cover your entire horns with duct tape. Try to make it as smooth as possible. It's foil, so it's hard to make it not look wrinkly, but if you go from the top down to the bottom, it looks like you have those little spirals that happen on horns, and it kind of looks cool. And then back to the base of the horn, we're going to take longer pieces of ribbon and just tape them down in an X formation over the center of the helmet. And it doesn't matter how long they are because you're going to trim them up anyway. And then just continue doing that, weaving them back and forth, doing each side until you get 3 layers is probably good enough depending on how big you made your horns. Now I'm just tucking the excess ribbon underneath the helmet and taping it down. You can also trim off the little pieces that are sticking out. Now I'm just covering up any extra tape that is poking through, ruining the way it looks. Then for the back, I just covered it up whatever way. I didn't really mess with the back. I taped it down with little diamond pieces to make it look better. And then this is my finished Maleficent horns. Then if you look at her costume, She has these weird wavy collar things. I took black poster board and cut out a shape like this using the longest side of the poster board. It's hard to explain, but you can see the shape. Just cut it however you want. And then I'm folding from the first little corner down, kind of like an accordion, but kind of at an angle, so that it will fit around my neck, and then a little bit up the next little wave, and pinching it. It's hard to explain, but I hope you can see what I'm doing here. And then I'm just going to tape that down. And then you just want to cover the entire thing with tape so that it has that same black color as the horns. Then just start bending them so they have a nice wavy shape. Then I tested them out to see what they look like, and then just taped them together so that they would be one piece. Now for her little collar choker, I took a piece of the lace long enough to tie around my neck, put down a piece of tape, then I put the lace over the tape, and then folded the tape over probably about halfway through the lace. And then I stuck down another piece and did the same thing. Just folded that over. And then flipped back to the front and put one piece of tape over the whole thing so that it was solid and there was no lace peeking through. And then you have a cute little choker collar thing. For the staff, I took more of the poster board and rolled it up long ways into 2 long pieces so that I could make it tall enough. And then for the top of it, I'm putting down 2 pieces of tape, then 2 more pieces of tape over that so it's not sticky. And then I'm rolling that around the end, kind of like an ice cream cone, so that it's wider at the top. Then I'm trimming off any of the sticky edges. And then I'm just cutting in little swiggly lines into the tape so that it looks like the top of her staff. Then I painted this little foam ball with green and purple and stuck that inside of it. And I also forgot to show that I bought a little tiny bird from the dollar store. And then for my costume, I'm just wearing a long, black, flowy maxi dress and this cardigan that's like velvety. I actually made this a long time ago, but any kind of cape or long thing will work. Make sure you check out the makeup portion of this video tutorial that will be uploaded right after this. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you watch all my other Halloween videos. I did a Halloween video every Wednesday for Halloween this year. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye!